there's no need for any more fancy words. This is the new generation Ford Ranger, and I'm here in Thailand to drive it. And I've got my buddy Eric in there somewhere. So now we're inside the new generation Ford Ranger, and I have Mr. Papi Chulo himself, Eric Tipan, driving.
Hi, everybody.
As you can see, the steering wheel is on his side because we're in Thailand. So Eric, what do you think so far of the interior?
Well, they were talking in the briefing initially. It's quite renovated. A lot of soft touch points on the dashboard. Not the entire dashboard, but just the front area, right by the door panels where your arms can rest. It feels pretty cramped because of all the equipment here. The seats are new, bolstered differently, but fits more firmly. It feels comfortable.
It's actually strange because when we're looking around at the seat, it doesn't seem as bulky as before, because the Ranger seats, especially the Wildtrak seats from the current or previous generation, it's actually quite big. You know, it's actually quite, it occupies a lot of space. This one seems to be achieving more of the same, but with less space occupied in the cabin.
That's right.
Now, the dashboard, yes, that is certainly the focal point when you step inside the all-new Ranger. Sorry, new generation Ranger. The first thing that really screams at you is this big iPad-like thing here.
Yeah.
I mean,
I think it's 12.1 inch.
something like that.
Yeah.
But, you know, looking at it, it really reminds me of the one on the Teslas. Have you
Right.
been in a Tesla?
Yeah.
Yeah. So,
It's more vertical than the Teslas, but
like a huge iPad.
it's huge.
So from here you can control a lot of the functions: Android Auto, wireless, Apple CarPlay, all that good stuff. Your climate, it has its own panel down here, but it also has the display panel right there, which is, it's a very different take and very unique and almost unexpected in a truck. And I think that's what Ford's trying to deliver.
Cutting edge stuff for the young generation.
Younger than us.
Definitely.
Younger than us.
Truck aficionados, truck enthusiasts. One thing that strikes me as different are the air vents with these hexagonal type slots.
It looks like a like a jet fighter vent when you have the vectoring kind of thing. It looks cool. The cup holders on the sides are also really cool.
You mentioned that as well.
Yeah, but the one I'm really keen on trying, because Eric's the one driving now. The one I'm really keen on trying is that digital display.
Yeah. It's an 8-inch, a lot bigger than previous one, which was 4.2 inches. It's customizable. It's LCD. It's very nice. You can change configurations depending on what kind of info you want from
I actually like what Ford did, because they kind of streamlined it. So it looks, when a lot of car makers, they do these digital displays, it looks strange because they still display the the tachometer, speedometer.
Yeah.
Which, if that's what you're gonna do, then why bother doing a digital display? Then you might as well just go for the analog with the multi-info display. So I definitely like what Ford did with that, and I'm keen on trying that after you pull over later on and we switch
we're gonna do a driver change for sure. Plus, I also like what's in front of you, Vince. This little slot where you can put more devices in.
I mean, 2 phones in this slot, no problem.
And it's got a good rubbery surface, so there's grip on your devices. They don't slide.
Traction on the surface. Yeah. And that's going to be something with the new Ford Ranger when we get to take it out later on the off-road track. Some of the other things here, the door handles. Actually, before in the Ranger, it used to be right here on the side.
Like a car.
Typical car, yeah. But on this one, they adopted the more American style, which is kind of the theme here when you look all around the Ranger, because the door handles are in the grip, which is kind of different. And later when we check out the bed, we'll show you some of the things that they really adopted from, let's say, the Ford F-150. But you know what? Let's go stop somewhere so we can check out what they changed with the design of the new generation Ford Ranger. Ford isn't really using the term all new because this is still part of the T6, meaning it uses the T6 platform, albeit with many improvements. But on the outside, clearly a lot has changed. The front end, the front bumper, it has these new C-clamp style headlamps, and that's actually something's gonna be mirrored in the back. I'll show you a bit later. But what they changed here so far, they moved the front axle just a little bit forward. This is about 2 inches, about 50 millimeters forward from before. And what that gives you is more room for the engine bay. Now, looking at the vehicle, it's bigger. I mean, it's longer, it's wider, it's taller, got a little bit more ground clearance. This still has the 2-liter twin turbo engine. Depending on the market, they have different kinds of engines available. It's also available with 5-speed manual, 6-speed manual, but this one is a 10-speed automatic. But what I'm really curious about, apart from the driving, which we'll get to later, is what's going on over in the back. A lot of the improvements with the Ford Ranger are actually with the back. Now, the one we're looking at here is the Sport, but the one I was driving earlier was the Wildtrak, which is why the back is a little bit different, but all the bones are pretty much the same, the arrangement with the bed of this. For instance, it has a helper spring. It makes it so much more easier. Now, this one does not have the bed liner like the one on the Wildtrak, which we really like. I'll try to roll in some of the footage from that one, but they basically rethought how the back is going to be used. But some of the nice things here, they made it bigger, they made it wider, made it a little bit longer. It's about 55 inches, that's 55 inches either way. And it can now fit a full-size European pallet. I think about 1200 millimeters by 800 millimeters. And the reason that is key is because if you want to load lots of stuff into it, you gotta use pallets and you gotta use a forklift. It just saves you time. So if you use a forklift, you can get your stuff in there, no problem. But I like the way Ford made it a bit more multifunctional than before. For example, if you're like me and you like a little bit of woodworking, you'll appreciate that the width of the bed, as well as it has clamp points over here. So if you're the type that does woodworking, you can clamp something there, like a board or something, or a 2x4, and you can break it down right here, no problem. But one of the nicer things here, apart from the helper spring, of course, is the side steps on this one, because this is something they adapted from the Ford F-150, the side steps for the back, because normally in a pickup truck you get in via that, but here you can get up via the steps. What? Instead of having to step on the wheel, although you can do both. It really feels strange to step back into a car with the steering wheel on the right side, because we've been stuck in the Philippines for 2 years. Like, this is Eric, of course, you know him. We've been stuck in the Philippines for 2 years, unable to go out to experience, so jumping into the Ranger again here is really, really nice. I mean, Eric, I know you were driving earlier, but now, like, I'm experiencing some of the things we were talking about. Like, for one, the switch over to the right-hand drive, it was actually made a bit easier because this comes with a lot of nice advanced safety features, like adaptive cruise control, which I'm not really using. We're not really using now, but the one that's coming in really handy is the lane keep assist. I mean, how does it work out for you?
It was not intrusive at all, and it's especially helpful for people who drive on the right side of the road, and then you're in Thailand where you're on the left side, and obviously it's a little tricky, so it helps a lot that you don't veer to your, just on the wrong way or to the wrong way with the lane keep assist.
Yeah, because I mean the point of view shift is huge. Yeah. So the fact that the Ranger is kind of assisting with that is, it's fantastic for me. There are those that criticize these advanced safety features. It kind of dumbs down drivers, but there are uses for it. Right now we're experiencing, because technically here, the way everything is with the driving, we are the kind of dumb drivers because we're not used to this. The smoothness of the transmission is quite apparent. The enhancement of the engine, they made changes with the engine.
We're using the 10-speed automatic, by the way. So.
Yeah, we're in the 10-speed automatic Wildtrak. So again, it's kind of currently the top of the line, the one that they have, with a 2-liter twin turbo bi-turbo engine. So, but overall, I can just say that the materials seem to have been improved. The side mirrors are nicer, and actually, I think it improved also with the blind spot a little bit. Well, even if you're sitting on that side.
On this side.
So, yeah, but the steering wheel, I like this with the orange stitch. Very, very neat. The parts bin seems to be different compared to before, because the switches for the lock unlock seem to be the same, but a lot of the other switch gear in this.
Oh, speaking
lot
of
better.
switches, the start-stop button is not on the dash; it's on the column. So
Oh, right there.
it's a little tricky to find, but once you get used to it, it'll be fine.
Didn't you feel like a real Tito looking for that switch?
Yeah.
But some of the other things here, really, what interests us is the on-road driving manners of it. It's smooth. It's smooth. It's quiet.
They were saying they did a lot of improvements with the suspension. So tell us about it, Vince.
Well, like we'll try to show you later, or maybe even before. We'll try to show that they made changes with the suspension. They moved the front a little bit forward. That's why the wheelbase is a little bit longer. So it's not the whole wheelbase and like the front suspension and the rear suspension being moved. It's more of the front. So they extended the front a little bit to make it to reduce, I guess, the overhang, and then make it an overall longer vehicle. They also increased the track, meaning the distance between the wheels from left to right by about, I think, 2 inches.
Yeah, this is longer, this is wider, this is taller, and longer wheelbase.
And the effect of that is it's a smoother vehicle. It's a more composed vehicle when you're cruising on the highway. And when you drive it around here, it really is an improvement. Now, granted, we have to wait until we bring this to the Philippines, because their asphalt here, their concrete here seems to be a lot better than ours.
Really?
So yeah, so we may have it may be difficult to compare our road surfaces, but overall it already seems like it could be really coming through. One thing I want to note though is when I open the window, the glass doesn't seem to be thicker, so like when motorcycles pass, you can kind of hear them a bit more so than I would have thought. But other than that, a lot of the upgrades they made here are quite meaningful. Alright guys, so here we are in Thailand. We are trying out the new Ford Ranger and its many off-road technologies, because there is a lot that they put into this truck to make it better, to make it easier for you to tackle even the most difficult off-road situations. I mean, I am no expert off-roader, but there are guys who are. And that's what all these features try to simulate. Someone with a better ability when it comes to managing the throttle and managing the brake when you're off-road. It takes years to get that kind of expertise when it comes to going around these things. And with the Ranger, it's kind of easier. It helps get you there a little more quickly. And this one, same thing, no brake, hill descent control. Yeah. Okay, so we'll go hill descent right here. Yeah. Okay. Good. A bit left. Leaving the brake. That's the beauty of hill descent control. You don't touch the brake anymore. You just let the car figure it out. Well, the Ranger figure it out for you. I have to negotiate this, I don't know, maybe 15-degree side slip, but that's not really any big deal. The Ranger is notable because it was one of the first to claim 800 millimeters water weighting. And right now, well, we're probably more like 300 or 400, so it's easy. Yeah. It's easy when it comes to water weighting. So yeah, at least it gives you that confidence. 4 high, 4x4 shift in progress, advanced track on, slippery mode, this way. So the Ranger has slippery mode, eco mode, the normal stuff. Like, let me show you. If you can see it on this camera, it has the eco mode, tow haul, slippery mode, which is what we'll use, and then what's this one? Mud and ruts and sand. Yep. But for now, we'll go to slippery mode. Slippery mode doesn't get you out of everything. It just gives you optimum traction. You have to be quick when it comes to the steering on a course like this. And right now, it's raining, so I'm taking the Ranger out. Let's see what we got. If I start shutting up, it's because I'm kind of focusing. So, because it is gonna be slippery in a bit, like there. And of course, if you've been doing off-road or trail, the more vehicles that go through a trail, the more challenging it's gonna be, because we're gonna bash everything in like right now. But again, Ranger makes it easy, which is what you kind of look for. That was the goal, making it easier. Okay, here we got a caution sign, so let's go around here cautiously. So, go around this bend, you have to kind of cut it because otherwise you slide around. There you go. Good. Now, this road is tricky because at any given time, you can end up sliding around without even knowing it. So you kind of have to pay attention with what's going on with the rear wheels, the rear axle. So, go around this way. Careful for target fixation. Oh, there you go. Yeah. Yeah, slide a little bit. That's normal.
Yeah.
That's normal. It's like a rally cross, but really, really slow. Okay. Oh, thankfully, yeah, it's so easy. Of course, this part's gonna be difficult now. Wait, let me see if I can cut it properly. That. Let it grip, let it grip, let it grip. There you go. Ah, see? Yeah, there you go. That's how you do it. A little bit of throttle work there. It's making me work, but... whoop, whoop, whoop. See? This is where it really gets tested. I mean, the pickups of old, they used to have these solid axles in the front as well. This one has a solid axle in the back, so it gives you that kind of articulation. But these ones are double wishbone, so double wishbones in front. So it kind of is a compromise between road comfort and off-road maneuverability and traction, but it still works. You know, we were joking earlier with the guys with Ford when they were coming up with this course. You know, like they must have been thinking, okay, we want to show off the off-road capability of the Ranger. Which ones do you want to show off? And the answer of Ford, yes. Everything is being shown off here. It's ridiculous. I love it. I think Ford was particularly brilliant when it comes to the strategy of what they did to re-engineer the all-new, well, new generation Ranger. The platform is not entirely new. They made adjustments to it. And that means they can save more and put it into things that make a difference to customers. Better quality interiors, more technology, more 4x4 features. I mean, the nice 4x4 system, we really got to try it out today. The differences they made to the bed, they make a lot of things better for truck customers, which Ford really researched when it comes to engineering this thing. Now, the new generation Ranger will arrive in the Philippines sometime in late 2022. So let us know what you think of this new truck from Ford, because by then, hopefully, they would have released the price. So advise us whether you're going to get in line for one of these, because I think it's going to be very, very popular.